1. Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Run the thumbs up on these videos. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for joining me on this Tuesday, January 23rd. A lot to talk about. And what we want to dive right into is this particular graphic about Kalen DeBoer on the recruiting trail. All right, you look at the transfers in, you look at the key targets, you look at the transfers out. Let me walk you through it, and we'll start with the top left. Transfers in so far. Coach went in and filled immediate needs that you need to this depth chart, and that's going to be something that he continues to do going forward. Austin Mack coming in, as you know, he's an absolute unit, 6'6", 230 pounds. I mean, the guy, complete monster, right? You saw the photo of him next to all the players. The guy's a giant. You also have Jeremy Bernard. He's a wide receiver. He had a total of 700 yards. He's in as a wide receiver, very similar playing style to Kendrick Blackshire. A lot of people are really excited about him coming to Alabama. I am too. I like bigger wide receivers, and you have a really good mix of wide receivers in this rotation. As we move forward and we talk more about depth charts and looking at the wide receivers, you'll start to see how these guys play in. But if you can have Kendrick Law, who I know, he didn't have a 1,000-yard year, but I think it was more you couldn't get the ball to him under Reese's system, offensive line, whatever it is. This year, Ryan Grubb leading the way at the offensive coordinator. I think he'll be more dynamic in terms of getting Kendrick Law the football, figuring out how to get Kobe Prentice the ball. With Isaiah Bond out, it creates a lot of competition in the room for guys to step up. And if Alabama can add Ryan Williams from the class of 2024, all the better, right? Parker Brailsford. This is one of the biggest things that Coach KD has did from the jump. You look at all the aggravation that Alabama went through last season with the bad snaps. He went and addressed it immediately with the 4-star offensive lineman from Washington. Is Alabama now going to be like the new Washington? No. Think about this. In Coach KD's coaching staff, yeah, he brought over a lot of guys on the offensive side of the ball. We liked that. We liked Washington's offense. We loved it, actually. Those guys were ballers. On the defensive side, not so much. We've talked about that before. He didn't bring over one coach from the defensive side of the ball from Washington. I like that, to be honest. A new outlook in running this 4-2-5. Here are some key targets that we're tracking that Coach KD is going after. You're going to see a lot of recruiting coverage right now in terms of where's Coach at. He's on the road. All these guys are on the road right now. And you have Ryan Williams being the biggest target. He was just in Tuscaloosa this past weekend, got the 5-star visit. You saw the recruiting photos, which were absolute fire. Now he is going to Texas. In an interview that I say you should definitely watch on AL.com, it's a video interview. You can find it on YouTube. He talks about his upcoming visit to Texas and how he is excited to visit with Sarkisian. Who wouldn't? It's one of the hottest programs, and we have him inside the comment box across the country. But from what we gather, it's a 2-horse race between Auburn and Alabama, and Auburn will get the last visit with Ryan Williams before he makes his official announcement on February 9th. So we will have coverage leading up to that right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Other targets that Coach KD is going after, and we're going to talk about this in just a second, is that defensive secondary where there was a lot of leakage, right? 11 guys going out. We have a graphic that is going to show you where these guys are going and kind of paint the picture from the secondary room. But there's some good news coming with that secondary room. It would be a slam dunk if Coach KD was able to get Jabbar Muhammad. I don't know if that is going to be the case. There's a lot of people inside the comment box that said he has canceled his official to Oregon. There's a lot of people that are saying that he's being crystal ball to Texas. I don't know. I'm sure Texas feels good about him right now. Seemed like he had a pretty good visit here in Tuscaloosa. He was being led around by Jahad Campbell, one of Alabama's defensive leaders. Noah Carter, he is on the commitment watch. He is a 4-star prospect out of the state of Arizona, 6'4", 220 pounds. The guy's very versatile player. I would actually put him on the offensive side of the ball, but I kind of like the offensive wide receivers. The kid has killer hands. I mean, his highlight tape's very, very entertaining. We've talked about that, I think, last week. Khalil Jacobs, who is that? He is a new name that Alabama offered yesterday. Don't read too much into the 3-star. He's a linebacker out of South Alabama. And if you think the guys from South Alabama or UAB can't play at Alabama, think about Jalen Key last year. Think about some of these guys who have come into place and play here at Alabama. I don't think he's going to be a starter, but you need depth. And considering some of these guys have hit the portal, like Sean Murphy, for example, you got to go in and bring some guys in on the defensive side of the ball. So Khalil Jacobs, I expect him to come to Alabama at some point in the near future, probably before the spring game. I don't think we have an exact date on that. KJ Lacey in town as an unofficial visit. Is this live? Yeah, this is live. He is a 2025 quarterback out of Saraland, and he is a quarterback who is ultra talented and a key target for this new coaching staff. Juju Lewis, he is committed to USC, but the coaches at Alabama re-offered him, which is exciting. He's a playmaker. He's been committed to USC, I think, since last August. I like the way that they're going. I mean, you look at these quarterbacks that they are recruiting. They have the 6'6" pocket style in Austin Mack, but they want some playmaker type quarterbacks as well. The guys with the escapability, guys that we've been accustomed to over the last couple of years at Alabama. Think like of a Bryce Young, a Julian Sain, those type of guys. Deuce Knight, he's also been offered. George McIntyre, and I know some of these guys might be committed elsewhere. But I mean, still, it's 2025. There's a lot to go into. Plus, I like to see the coaches on the grind. That's one thing that Coach Saban did was absolutely grind in terms of recruiting. I wanted to talk about the Alabama secondary because there was a tweet yesterday that came up that I found pretty interesting. And this is it. I'll enlarge this right here. Did Alabama really just sign the best defensive back group ever? Damn, I was like, huh. Jaylen Mbakwe, Zabien Brown, Zay Mincey, Peyton Woodyard, Red Morgan, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. And look, none of these guys have even seen the field yet, but they are highly rated. And then I started thinking, I was like, well, let me look at how these guys fit in with all of the leakage in the defensive secondary. So here's a graphic right here. I don't think that is the updated graphic. So let me update this. Here's an updated graphic of the Alabama secondary room. I'll put this full screen. This is a live cut that you're watching, so I appreciate you guys running the thumbs up. Malachi Moore, I'm going to work from the left to the right, okay? So we're starting on the left. You have Malachi Moore. Those stats are not updated, but you know that he played in 700 snaps last season, and this is his COVID year that he's coming back for. You also have Devontae Smith. Yeah, Alabama has another Smitty. He was injured last season. Otherwise, he would have started over Jalen Key. You lose Jalen Key, you lose Christian Story, who transferred to Kentucky. You lose Trey Amos, who transferred to Ole Miss, and then Jalen Key, going for the NFL. Juniors, you lose Kool-Aid going to the NFL, Terrion going early to the NFL. Damani Jackson in as a 5-star with the University of Alabama, which is a huge addition at the corner position. You also return Tony Mitchell. I think I've said a couple times that he's a 5-star. I think he's a consensus 4-star, but whatever the case, you know his story. You know that he got in some trouble. He's back, been in class, doing all the things that he needs to do. So look for him to fight for that safety spot this coming year. Bray Hubbard is another guy that we don't talk enough about. I'm excited to see how he can contribute. But look at all these freshmen that Alabama lost. Caleb Downs going to Ohio State for, I think someone said, what was it, $3 million or something like that? Jake Pope going to Georgia, Earl Little Jr. going to Florida State, Antonio Kite going to Auburn, Des Ricks going to Texas A&M, Grimsley going to Florida. This is just wild. And Grimsley was a 2024 commitment. And then you have Jahil Hurley, who is the lone guy staying at Alabama. And remember, this transfer portal window, it ends, or at least the way that Will the Scout explained it, by Wednesday, we should see that leakage stop. So kind of today is maybe that last day if anybody's going to hit the portal. On the right, this is the class that we're talking about. Look at these guys coming in. Zay Mbakwe, Zay Mincey, Zabien Brown, Peyton Woodyard, Red Morgan. I think Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. is a 3-star, whatever the case is. Guy balled out. At the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game, he recently had 2 interceptions. And, his pops, everybody knows who his pops is. He's a completely different style from his pops. I think his pops had he's kind of longer, lankier, and I think Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. more of a boomer. But when you start to look at the 4-2-5, how these guys could fit in, I think a lot of these freshmen are going to grow up and play right away. Coach Saban did a really good job bringing in a strong recruiting class in 2024, and these freshmen are going to play right away. Now it's up to Coach KD to continue to fill that roster, right? Bring in the guys of 2025 that can play behind these guys. So it's more about depth right now for Coach KD, and that is something that he's responsible for. But as you can see, the cup is not completely bare. The cupboard is not completely bare when you look to the secondary, although there's a lot of names gone, especially T-Rob on the defensive side of the ball. I appreciate you guys being here. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. A couple other things before I end this live cut, and you're watching this live this morning. Here's the quarterback room real quick. The quarterback room looks like this. So you have Jalen Milroe returning. You have freshman Ty Simpson, Dylan Lonergan, who's coming back. A lot of people excited about each of those quarterbacks. And then you have Austin Mack. Julian Sane hit the portal and he transferred to Ohio State. And then you have Austin Mack coming in, 6'6", 230 pounds. Jalen Milroe is clearly the front runner. He is the guy. He is the guy that's expected to start. None of these players are entitled to anything. I would say that goes to Jaylen Mbakwe as well. They all have to prove themselves. Dylan Lonergan is a really hot name that people really like. And Ty Simpson, you saw him come in last year against, when I think about Ty Simpson, I think about that game against Kentucky, where I thought he did pretty well, to be honest. So those are, kind of the items that we are tracking right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And I appreciate you guys being here as we continue to track the latest news and the latest headlines right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I'm going to be here streaming. I'm taking your calls. And as news happens, I'm right here at Bama Football on YouTube. And I want you guys to get used to when news happens, think Bama Football on YouTube. So trending headlines, what will Ryan Williams decide? Coach DeBoer on the recruiting trail. Jacobs offered by Bama, and a couple other new 2025 names that we are tracking as they come in. So definitely think about becoming a fan funder as low as $2.99. Hit the hyperlink atop the screen or anywhere you see the join button. Could be under the video, could be at the top of the video. And we're trying to bump that goal up as we continue to build onto this network overnight right here at Bama Football on YouTube. Run the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys being here, and I will catch up with you soon right here on Bama Football on YouTube.